Hey, welcome to the show, Leading and Growing Your Real Estate Business. This is Coach James Short, aka Shorty. And this is a show for those within the real estate industry wanting to lead and grow their real estate business. It's a series of interviews that we conduct for those within the industry. So we're finding out what those leaders are within the industry, what makes them tick, what's their story, what are their strategies, and how to become the leaders and the growers within the industry. But also, it's an interview series with those outside of the industry. I'm always a big believer of looking at a whole different part of the pie rather than just focusing on one part of the pie. Because what it does, it allows you to have a different perspective, allows you to get snippets or golden nuggets from those outside of the industry that can look in the industry and go, there's a different perspective. And so I encourage you to reach out to the guests. I encourage you to lean into these series to find out how can these pieces of information, experiences, stories help you lead and grow your real estate business. I'm excited for this next guest to join us on the show, Blake Doolan. Oh, from college scholarship receiver to running a business to help other owners understand their numbers to grow and scale. Blake helps over 250 small business owners on a weekly basis understand their profits, but their cash flow using best practice bookkeeping and financial tracking systems and practices for growth and success. The not so silent business partner, I'm excited and very pumped to have Blake on the show today. Mate, thank you. It's an honor and a privilege to get you on, and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. How's it going?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. So scholarship receiver to business owner, lots in between. Mate, tell me a bit. I know your backstory, but let's share with the viewers and the guests on the show. Take us through those humble beginnings and how did you move into the business world?
Yeah, awesome. So we'll start from the very beginning. My auntie was a professional golfer on the LPGA for 30 years, and my family's all played golf throughout my whole life. So I got to pick up the sticks when I was about 13, and by the time I was 16, I was one of the top in the nation for that sport, and I was lucky enough to get an offer from a Div 1 college in the US to go and attend their college on a full ride scholarship for golf, as well as I decided my elective was astrophysics that I was like that I would like to study. So it was a let's say it was they do splits over there, so it was a 70% sport, 30% academic.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
from there,
And where was that?
yeah,
Where was
then
that
from
based? Where was that based over?
Florida State University.
Beautiful.
So I went over there in 2017 or 2016, can't quite remember the year. And I did a tour where I went to the schools that I'd been in discussion with. Some of those include the Texas Longhorns, the Florida Gators, which is where I was going to go, and as well as Louisiana State University. So they were all sports schools with an academic second. The reason I decided to go to Florida was one, my auntie was living there at the time, so it was really easy. I had my support network there, as well as it was closer to the studies that I was going to take if I didn't end up making it down the sports route. And then, yes, and as you know, unfortunately, from there, I did break my back when I was about 17 years old, which meant that I couldn't fulfill my sports requirements. So they pulled my college scholarship offer from there. So then I was a bit in limbo, deciding where do I want to go? What do I want to do? And I found my way in the business world as pure circumstance almost, just to start helping the family business. And then from there, I took over not too long after that, when I found a passion for actually helping business owners grow. Because I've been in small business my whole life, my family has owned it, and I've seen the good, the bad, the ugly. So I wanted to make sure that I could help the business owners get to a place where they could be financially, not free, but financially competent enough that they can just focus on growing their business. The numbers analysis side was all taken care of them. They knew that they were making money. They knew where they were making it or bleeding it, but they didn't need to focus on it 24/7.
Got it. Got it. And so so obviously we're dealing with so many clients each week. Where are you noticing, I guess, some of the challenges? And I think you've already mentioned it, where where what you guys do, where you help them to focus, where you help them to provide the numbers and make them aware of the numbers so they can actually help to grow out the business. But where are you seeing some of the challenges and the frustrations with business owners out there at the moment?
So the biggest challenge is cash flow. So for a good business, for a business owner that already has a good business but wants to scale and grow, its cash flow is king. It's a saying as old as time. Now, for a lot of business owners in today's economy, getting the work doesn't seem to be necessarily the biggest issue. It's making sure that the money's coming in on a consistent base and you have a good work base that can complete the work for you. Whether it's in industries like real estate, like you obviously see a lot yourself when a real estate agent wants to scale and grow, and the gap between commission and getting that money in the door can be a limiting factor, all the way through to construction, where they're big money amounts that are coming through, but they're big progress claims. So understanding when and where that money is coming from is quite literally the key to success. I call it the little sleeping pill. The reason I call it that is I'm a sucker for it. I get caught in it all the time. But you wake up at 3 a.m. you're like, yeah, the world's burning down. What do I do? Where is everything going? But with the knowledge that you're either in the green or in the red, at least if you know the definites where you are, you can have a business plan going forward. And that's how I found that I slept through the night the best, is just that plan and understanding where that money's coming, where it is going, and how it's getting there.
Yeah, I love it. And so for those who potentially are listening to this and go, that is me, at waking up at 3 o'clock, in the morning thinking, holy moly, how am I going to make pays for the staff? And I've got this coming in, I've got this going out. What would you recommend to them as maybe one or two strategies that they could start to sleep through the night and know that things are taken care of? What would you suggest? Hey guys, just a little side note here. How's it going? Are you on track this year? I know that sometimes this part of the year we can feel like we're in a bit of a grind, a bit of in the trenches. Are you on track from the original plans that you set out for the rest of this year? What I've realized is that with this time of year, we get so distracted and we've got trying to chase so many shiny balls and go down so many rabbit holes. And that's why I created a program called the 90. It's a framework that actually allows you to achieve more in 90 days than ever before. Some of the feedback that we've got from some of the people that have used the process, the 90, is that they've achieved more in 90 days than the whole previous year. So if you'd like to have the tools, have the techniques, have the framework on the 90, so you and your team can achieve more in 90 days than ever before. What it does, and it impacts you of how to get clear, what you need to do, and who you need to be to show up in order to achieve the things you want to achieve over the next 90 days. Simply head over to jamesshort.com.au, click on join the waitlist, fill in your details, and one of the team members will be in touch and take you through the 90 framework. On with the show.
Number one is planning your expenses. So as we know in business, expenses is the biggest part that can cause a lot of anxiety. Like, for example, making payroll every week. We've got to plan where that's coming in and then have a plan on how we're getting the money in the door. So expenses are a big thing. So weekly payroll usually isn't the biggest random expense that you get. I'm more talking like if you've got big marketing campaigns coming up where it's once a month payments of $5,000. Well, we need to plan when that's coming in. And for those people using Xero as their accounting software, there's a very little handy part of it called Xero Plan Date in your payable segment. So what that allows you to do is it allows you to put a date of due date on it. So not just the due date of the invoice, but when you plan to pay it. So that can give you a nice little heading so you can understand where that money is going to go out. And the secondary thing on the biggest ways that they can do that is understanding who can help you out there, not how you can do it yourself. So, James, I'm sure you've heard of it, being a great coach throughout the years, the book from Dan Sullivan, it's The Age of Time, Who, Not How. And I've found that changed my way of thinking in business big time, where I was that guy. I had every hat on under the sun, from sales and marketing through to doing the work, through to client communication, everything under the sun. And I read that book one day as a recommendation from someone. And that next day I hired a practice manager that I was going to train up because I found the who. Now I can talk on a bookkeeping stance that late nights reconciling your accounts and making sure that you at least are getting the compliance out there can be a burden on a lot of people. Where I find if you can find the who to help you, someone that understands business, not just bookkeeping, but understands business as a whole and the need for accurate and clear numbers, you're on a winner. Whether that's us or someone else, I'm purely talking for education here. I'm a big education person, so everyone just knows what the right thing is out there. If you can find the right person that can not only do your bookkeeping work, but advise you when those troubled times are coming and help you with a plan through it and connect you with the great people like yourself, James, that can help business as a whole from that coaching standpoint, it is the golden goose. So those are the two main things: tracking your expenses, understanding when they're coming out. That'll help you sleep through the night because you'll know that once a week I pay my bills. Not that once a week, depending on your situation, you may not sleep, but 99% of the time you will sleep throughout the week. And the second one is finding the who can
Love it.
help you and who can help you the best. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so important, right? Because that's the thing. That's what I find. Like so many business owners feel they need to do it all themselves, but it's the ability to find the right team around you to support you in all aspects of your business. And that who component is, yeah, I love it. I love it. Where do you seeing? Obviously, you're dealing with a lot of business owners out there in the industries or different types of industries at the moment. What's your feeling of the layout of the land? You mentioned cash flow is a big challenge out there. Where do you see it going, I guess, over the next 6 to 12 months? Do you still feel that that's going to be a tight squeeze or managing that cash flow, or do you think things might start to change a little bit?
Well, after speaking to a few industry leaders in the industries I work in, so for the listeners here today, my niche is your home essentially. So I help anything to do with the house. I help from real estate agents through to construction, through to conveyances, anything like that. So it's very big on the real estate market. So after speaking to some industry leaders, it's not going to be necessarily the workflow that's the issue. It's going to be when it comes in.
Mhm.
So they believe that it might be a little bit seasonal. Now, that is, it's always been the way in real estate where have been big seasons, but I'm also talking on the construction and renovation front as well, where it's never really been seasonal. It's always been the big times of year other than Christmas. Christmas always sucks. But I believe that the problem will be not getting the work in the door. It'll be completing the work and waiting for the payments to come in. And it will be that going forward. I believe because they are forecasting it, there will be a rate drop in the not too distant future, which will create a mini boom in the large markets in Australia. We all know that because a lot of people are waiting for that small opportunity of reassurance. But I believe that yeah, that won't be a workflow thing, if a workflow issue, if you've got the good systems behind you on your marketing front and networking and making sure your name's out there. It'll be completing the work with the level of efficiency that your cash flow isn't impacted. Because as you grow, cash flow is always an issue. It's the biggest hamstring in the of a growing business. Is
Yeah.
can my business grow with that?
So true. Right? I love it. And that's a really good analogy because it's people think, oh, if I grow my business, then I'll have more cash coming in, but then you got to manage it at the same time. It's not just, yeah, more in.
Yeah.
There's also going to be more out, as you grow, and there's going to be that sticky point as well. It's just like, oh, there's a lot going out and it hasn't met expectations of coming in. And once again, like what you said, is how to manage that and how to plan for that accordingly. Um, and what about yourself? What about you and the business? What exciting projects are you guys working on and what's coming up in the foreseeable future?
Yeah. So the most exciting thing that I'm currently developing is a new way of managing cash flow. I'm currently looking, I've got all my spreadsheets and everything under the sun, but they don't have all the fancy pie charts and everything. So right now I'm working with an external company and myself to develop a way that a business owner can put in all the expenses, all the things, and it shows percentages and makes it all great. So there's a lot less interpretation. Because interpretation's great, right? Everyone has it, but unless you've got a financial person helping you out, usually as a business owner, you can read all the numbers, but I never 100% understand it. So I'm trying to create a way to understand it for your average day business owners. But outside of that, look, I just want to help as many people out there. Small business is such a big part of the Australian economy, and unfortunately, we have been hammered over the last 5 years, whether there has been massive growth stages, massive shrinkages, and the economy is just seeming to tick along, but just barely. So I just want to get out there and help as many people as humanly possible to just make sure that they understand their numbers. That's the biggest thing for us. And we're an ever growing team. I am a big believer in keeping Australian owned and operated. So all my team is in Australia, and we make sure that we help Australian businesses with Australian advice.
Love it. Fantastic. So, Blake, on the show, we have our 60-second quiz to find out a little bit more about our guests. Are you willing to play?
Let's do it.
Oh, let's go. All right, here we go. Favorite movie?
Star Wars.
Love it. Favorite food?
I'm a big burger person. Love burgers.
Cool. Favorite holiday destination?
I love going to Florida in the US.
Cool. What's your morning routine?
Wake up, brush my teeth, have a cup of coffee, get to work, and start the day.
Love it. And what about an evening routine?
Get home, try to kick the shoes off, relax a bit, play some video games, and maybe watch a movie before bed.
Nice. And do you have a most embarrassing moment?
When I was 6 years old or 7 years old, when we were in Goulburn, we had the Prime Minister from Australia at the time, John Howard, came and visited the hotel that my parents owned as a goodwill gesture. And I got up at school the next day in front of a few hundred people and said, "Today I met the President of Australia." So rather than saying I met the Prime Minister, I said the President, because I've spent a lot of time in the US as a kid.
I love it. I love it. If you could choose 5 inspirational people to have dinner with, they could be dead or alive, who would they be?
That's a big question. I would love to meet Nikola Tesla because of the innovations he made at his age back in the day. I would love to meet Gary Vaynerchuk. I want some of his energy, even though he's very work oriented. I'd love a bit of his energy. Michael Jordan, love basketball. Grew up watching the Chicago Bulls back in the day, and same with my family. I'd love to meet Tiger Woods, obviously a very golf centric person. And I would also love to meet Mark Zuckerberg, someone that has grown a very, very successful IPO business at a young age. It is a bit of a testament that at my young age, I would love to learn how he grew and had such a successful business at his age as well when he did grow up back in the day.
Yeah, fantastic. Love it. And if you were Prime Minister for the day, not President, Prime Minister for the day, what's one thing that you would change?
Wow. Big thing is I would love to see a few ways that we can get Australian made products back on the shelves more. I believe that currently, yes, inflation is caused by high spending. We all know that, but I believe it's a lot of the shipping and delays that we are getting from overseas. I would love to go back to a bit of Australian made, Australian owned businesses that can get out there and provide a high quality product that lasts for years and years to come. I'd love to see that back on the shelves a bit more.
I love that. That's such a great idea. And what would be your best piece of advice?
In general, it is the who, not how method. Figure out the best who to help you out, not how to do it, because at the end of the day, as much as we all wish we could clone ourselves, the technology is not there yet, and I don't know if I could deal with 3 of me as is, but it's hard enough to deal with 1 of me. So I believe if we can find the best foods in the country to help us out, the hows will come easy for us.
Love it. Great piece of advice. And where can the audience find out more, follow your journey, and reach out to ask further questions?
Yes, so we do have a website at pnssbp.com.au. It is a brand new website, so please be kind. But they can reach out to me through there, and I'm always available via the phone, which I believe my phone number is on the website. If not, it is 0401 029 293. Feel free to reach out to me at any time if you just want to have a chat, no obligation. I'm just a person in this country that wants to make sure that everybody that owns and runs a small business in Australia can really create the best life for not only themselves, but their family as well.
Love it. Blake, really an honor and privilege to have you on the show. I love your energy. I love your expertise. I love your knowledge. Mate, thank you once again.
Thank you. I appreciate it.